So how I usually run these is like I can go through kind of what coaching looks like. You can kind of tell me if you know what you're looking for, but the idea is really just to see if we can come up with something that works for you. And if we can, that's great. But if we can't, it's also, no stress.
Okay.
Yeah. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. So I know you have a goal you want to get to, but can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, where do you want to get to the end of this season?
I guess I want to go wherever like I can get, but I just kind of have a feeling that I can do better than where I am now, and so I'm not like targeting a specific rank, but it would be nice to get out of gold, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And have you ever gotten out of gold before?
No, I don't think so. Gold one is
Nice.
probably the highest I've ever been.
Okay. Awesome. That's good that you're currently at your highest rank. That's always a good sign. Awesome. And are you set on the 80 carry role? Like, is that the role you're like, yep, I want to play this for the next, for the rest of this season?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And champion wise, going one step deeper into that, what champions do you want to play?
Um, I've been having a lot of, I think, good time with Jin and Jinx as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I'll play the Jinx when I like face a matchup that's got not good for Jin.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, they're very different to each other, and they both have their strengths and weaknesses, so that makes perfect sense. And are you one of those players who is quite content with just having two champs, or are you someone who, you do like to occasionally play other champs and stuff, or are you happy to stick to those two?
I think for like ranked the solo duo, I'm okay with just having two, and
Good.
so like the only thing outside of that is when these two are both not available,
Yeah.
then I probably play Misfortune or Tristana or something.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. No, that's great to hear. Yeah, because I find some players, a lot of the time, people ruin their ranks or their main account's ranks just because they play too many champions on their main account. And so I just wanted to check that. But that's good that you've got that discipline already set up, which is really promising.
Nice.
Awesome. And so why do you want to get to plat? You just think that's kind of like a milestone, or you've just never been there before, so you want to get there. Do you have friends in plat, or is there any kind of reason outside of what I'm thinking as to why you want to
Um,
get there?
I don't have any friends in Plat, but like all of my friends like we're all gold, and
Yeah,
so we've all kind of like we've all come from like lower ranks together, and so I think it's just like the next part where now
awesome.
everyone's just like looking for the next rank.
Yeah, that's sick. That's cool. Nice. It's good none of you are getting too hard stuck. That's good.
Yeah.
And so, you've played over 300 games this season. You've got a pretty good win rate, 54% in your last 20. I'm sharing screen, by the way. I don't know if you're...
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
63% in your last 20, 54 in your last 40. So you've still got... You're doing really well. Have you ever thought about what is stopping you, if anything, from climbing higher, let's say, on your own?
Yeah. So I think something that pops up a lot. I can I think my early game used to be really bad and it's much better now, where I can keep up with farm and get kills. But sometimes even if I do good for like the first 15, 20 minutes, I might still like just end up losing towards the end, like the other half of the game.
Okay.
And usually I think it's because I'm dying too much.
Okay. Um, okay, so it's a bit of an early game to mid game transition and having enough potential and impact to win more games. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not like just from face value, and we'd figure a lot more out in actual game reviews of your gameplay, but it doesn't look like you're dying too much overall as an average. Like 6.1 deaths is a little high. Like usually I recommend players try and aim for like 5.5. But I see some gold 80 carries who have like 8 or 9 deaths, and I'm like, that's a real problem. So it could actually be a problem. It might not be the deaths though. It might be something else. But generally, when a player does have that gut feeling that something like that's happening, it's usually two reasons. It's one, they have a couple of really bad, vivid experiences of them not being able to do anything after winning lane, and sometimes it's just because you got a bad team or something, and they were literally uncarryable, and it was always going to be a loss no matter how well you did. Or it's usually a valid response. And, you know, I can't determine which one is which on this call, but I think that's a really good point that you've raised, and that's something that we'd probably want to look at straight away if we do work together of can we fix the areas that you're seeing issues in, and then I'll also identify areas that I think you need work on. And so we kind of tackle it from what you want to fix as well as what I think you need to fix in order to climb higher and just become a better player.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So have you ever had coaching before or anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, cool. And do you have any expectations? Like if you were to get coaching, what would you expect from your coach? Or would it be, you know, I expect to climb to X amount of rank. I expect them to be, some people like, I just want a coach who's nice and friendly. Like when I ask them this question. So I always just get interested to understand what players want.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be nice to, like, just have someone to ask questions who like knows a lot more about the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things, and I guess ideally like I would see progress in my rank, but like I'm not necessarily like looking to like be coached until a specific rank. You know, like if it could be more of like a recurring thing, I think that would be nice, especially just because I'm like, I guess like transitioning in my life to like what like my job and all those things will look like. And so League of Legends is obviously like something that I do as a hobby.
Yeah.
And so something recurring I think would be better than like having a specific goal and then getting there and dropping it away.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. Yeah, and it's I'm glad you said that because it's one of the packages we offer and we've been finding a lot of success on is basically it's like a monthly coaching plan. And I'll run you quickly through the features. You probably would have seen it when you booked the call, but what you get is you get a game review a month with the coach. So that usually goes for 90 minutes. And as I said earlier, it can either be on something you want to fix, on something the coach has been like, let's fix this. Or it could even be like a series of games where we just look at your laning phase as an example. And we just focus on your laning phase for 90 minutes and we look at 3 or 4 games. And break that down, which players really like, particularly in your situation where you kind of want recurring coaching. That's really popular. We also then track your statistics as well. Let me just get up. I've got a guy I've been working with, I think, for 4 months now, and we just track some of the key stats because I know Mobilix and OP.GG show great current stats, but they're not good with historical data. So what we do is we just track all your main stats for you. This guy's just a Trin 1 trick, so we're only tracking his Trin stats. But for you, it would be your Jinx and your Jhin, and you know, if you did want another champ in there, we could do that.
Cool.
And it's really just cool to see, you know, how their win rate drops, but they're still climbing, and obviously, you know, it's very hard to maintain a win rate like that. But, you know, this is kind of the progress we usually see. So this guy started at Silver 1 when he first started with us. And then in about 4 months, we got him to Gold 2, which is top 33 to 18%. So it's not, you know, Challenger overnight. And it's not, you know, really slow progress, but it's steady and consistent. And that's what we kind of aim for. We don't want to try and teach you all these like cheap tricks and tips that will work for this patch. And then next patch you're like, oh, what the fuck, my champ got nerfed and now I'm useless, or that got patched. We like to just build consistent players who are able to climb no matter basically what's happening in the meta. Awesome. And yeah, so including that, we do stat tracking. We also, as part of the review, you get a recording of the session. You also get notes. And then we do key focus areas. So we usually talk about, you know, what are the biggest things holding you back? And these are the things you need to focus on for the next month. And then you've also got 24/7 access to the coach. So you can just talk to them whenever you want. Be like, hey, it's going well. Hey, it's not going so well. and ask questions throughout the month. And then you have that 90-minute game review every month for that recurring touch point where, you focus on whatever you want to.
Cool.
Yeah, and then as part of that as well, this is all in the one package. You can also just ask for one thing or whatever. But we also do weekly boot camps in the Discord. So that's usually $10 a month, but I just throw that in for anyone on our recurring stuff because I think they're really good value. And they're run by a challenger coach who is actually an AD carry main.
Cool.
So we do all roles with that. So sometimes the sessions won't be relevant, but we try and do when we can as generic boot camps as possible. But then we also do deep dives. I think about 3 weeks ago we did like an AD carry and support synergy boot camp as an example. So we do get specific with that.
Cool.
And yeah, so that's usually what we do in our recurring. And so we have 3 coaches available for that at the moment. We have our Diamond Plus coach, which he's quite new to the scene, and he hasn't actually done recurring stuff yet. He has just done one-offs, but he is our cheapest. He's at $40 a month, and then you've got myself and my challenger coach that I just talked to you about, who is an AD carry main, who I think you would be good with him if you're interested in getting an AD carry specialist, but also so both of us are 50, but my specialty, he's an AD carry specialist, but he also coaches all roles. He's challenger. I'm actually like a D1 rank and I just play Phil. So I'm really good at, I guess, getting players to diamond or helping them build the framework to get them to diamond. Whereas some players, particularly because you're an AD carry main, you want to get coached by someone who mains AD carry. So for you, if you like me, I'm happy for us to work together. But also if you're wanting that more specialist coach, you could also go with our challenger AD carry coach.
Cool.
So I guess the first question is that budget reasonable to you? Like, does that sound like a workable plan?
Yeah, I think the recurring plan is something I'd be interested in.
Awesome. And we can do. Would you want to go with me? Do you want to try the challenger coach? What's your leaning there?
I think
I won't take offense. I won't take offense. It's I don't mind whichever way you go.
Yeah, I think I'll try the AD carry coach just since I want to try to develop some of those skills.
Yeah, and he is very good. Like, he's very knowledgeable. You'll learn a lot of new concepts about AD carry and how to think of the game. So I think give him a go, and if you find you don't like, he's a great guy. He does coaching full time. I do this part time. He's amazing. But if there is the chance that you don't really mesh with him, or you want to come back to me or whatever, just send me a message and we can switch it back over.
Okay. That sounds good.
Awesome. So how we usually do this is I will give you his calendar to book your session, and then on the day of that session, we'll set up the payment plan. Because it's recurring, I don't want to get you to pay now and then your session's booked, in 4 days' time or whatever. So what I'll do is after this call, I will send you his booking calendar. And then I'll send you the payment link on the day of your scheduled session with him, and then we can go from there. So it'll be $50 a month, and it's cancel anytime. So there's no like lock-in. You have to do this for 3 months or whatever. If after the first month you're like, nah, I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore. Cancel. No questions asked. It's all good.
Okay. Cool.